the semifinals of the 2007 U.S. Open. First up will be Carolyn Dorin-Ballard, left-hand lane.
On a great start for Dorin-Ballard. It looks like she's going with a little more of an aggressive ball than she used in her quarterfinal victory.
Well, for the fans that watch the quarterfinals, Marshall, we saw them play the outside line, and when they get striking, they can knock a ton of pins down. The last game this young lady bowled in the quarterfinals was a 299. Her first shot, right-hand lane.
Now ball left of her target. You can see her walking back and shaking her head. Fortunate that the 7-pin fell out, just leaving the 6 and the 10. Relatively easy spare. She'll move to the left, go cross alley with a hard ball that doesn't hook very much at all.
We asked Shannon yesterday what's in her bag. Every pro takes a bunch of bowling balls, and let's see what she has today.
Today in my bag, I'm going to start with my benchmark ball. It's the Storm Special Agent. It's clean through the front, nice clean motion on the back of the lane. If I need something that goes a little longer, a little smoother, I'm going to go to my Thunderstruck. And if I need something that is a little strong on the back end, but still a little cleaner through the front, I'm going to go to the new Attitude Shift.
Well, she really gave that ball a lot of room. That ball very close to the channel bow going down the lane.
You know, as we watched her practice yesterday, the ladies were in here practicing yesterday. Shannon had a number of balls in the old mode out there, Marshall, but she has to trust it that far because she throws the big hook.
You can see it at 50 feet. It was still on like the 2 board, so she certainly did trust it. Once again, straight with the spare ball. And no problem. Well, you know, the game goes by so fast, Bo. It's 10 frames. There's 2 frames gone, and Ballard has a chance to get up in the 2nd frame, take an early 11-pin lead with a strike.
Well, I think that's where the veterans, and I remember the late Dick Weber, how he used to stomp on me all the time. He'd catch me right out of the chute. Let's see what Ballard does right here. Carolyn Dorin has a bunch of bowling balls with her, too. Let's see what hits her bag.
Let me tell you what bowling balls I have in my bag. Oh, first of all, let me remove the inspection sticker. Doesn't prove I travel too much, does it? I have found that the lanes are a little bit cleaner today for me. I have a lot more back end, so I have chosen bowling balls that are a little bit early rolling and to put surface on them to mellow out the reaction off the dry boards. I'm going to start with my Total Inferno, which is my earliest rolling bowling ball. Once this quits on the back end and I don't quite get that kick of the 10-pin out, I'm going to go to my Strike Zone, which is a little bit more lengthy. It still gives me that mellow arc off the dry. And once both of these bowling balls don't work, I'm going to go to my Absolute Inferno, which was my winning ball in my semifinal match. And always in your bowling ball, you have to have your target zone, which is your plastic bowling ball, to shoot all my spares, and last but not least, my towel.
A much better delivery by O'Keefe on the right-hand lane. Remember, though, she came in a little bit high last time. That ball she projected further down the lane, and Dorin-Ballard's got a lot of stuff going on in her bag.
Well, Shannon has a lot of keys to victory, but the main thing, Marshall, and you picked it out early, is the consistent backswing. In other words, getting it up nice and high and fluid and keeping that nice tempo flow. And as long as she keeps it slow and lets it flow, she's very tough. Now she needs to throw a double right here to cut the lead back down to 11 pins. 4th frame. Wow.
That's the way to step it up, Shannon. You know, Ballard starts out with 3 in a row, and well, the game can get over in a big hurry, but that puts her back only 11 pins down. last shot that Dorin-Ballard threw on lane 26, I really thought was going to go high, but the ball she is using stops a little bit early into the pocket. Take a look at some of Carolyn Dorin-Ballard's keys to victory. She had a little trouble with her right shoulder, but that's not bothering her too much anymore. Maintaining a good solid. Oh,
darn it, Carolyn.
boy.
It's awful.
And there is Carolyn's daughter and her husband Dell, who also works for Brunswick. Carolyn will just go for 1 pin here, Marshall. Just a bad break.
Well, watch the 5 pin. It doesn't get over into the 7 pin and let flat 10 stand. So we saw a lot of that in practice. And right now this game is going to be O'Keefe with just a small advantage.
We have two diametrically different styles here, Marshall, as you picked out, with Ballard going straight and down and in. We saw it in the quarterfinals that the player who could go the straightest ended up with probably the best results. And O'Keefe, although, you know, put that thought aside, if she's throwing the big hook, and if she can keep it in the pocket, it's hard to outcarry her. So with just a 3-pin differential through 4 frames, the match is anybody's.
The solid 8. You just can't make a better shot than that, Bo.
Well, 2 bad frames in a row, really bad breaks. You'll see the 2-pin is the one is the culprit. It actually, people think it's the it actually knocks the 5-pin off, Marshall, and it goes right by the 8-pin. That's just almost a little too much power, but obviously an easy spare. But in a 1-game match, it's very disappointing. This week's matchup on Monday Night Football features Eli Manning, Plaxico Burress, and the New York Giants facing Warwick Dunn and the Atlanta Falcons. Monday Night Football on ESPN begins at 8:30 p.m. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern with Monday Night Countdown.
Now O'Keefe up on the right lane.
Strike here. She has a 13-pin lead, Marshall.
Left off her hand, the 6 pins wobbling. Doesn't fall. And she knows she just made a poor shot there. Maybe a little bit anxious to get that 3rd strike. Right here the ball looks pretty good, but it's going to drive really hard. Fortunate, breaks everything down, almost gets the squasher hit and knocks down the 6 pin. Simple spare, no problem.
Marshall, you know, we watch these ladies bowl as her husband looks on, Shannon O'Keefe's husband, who is quite a bowler himself, bowled for the Nebraska team, the national champions in the 90s, coached by Bill Straub, a good friend of ours. But going back to the pair of lanes, is that we watched in the quarterfinals that they weren't hooking quite this much. And today it's a little different, yet they say it's supposed to be the same lane condition. What causes that?
Well, the machine hasn't been used in a long time for this pattern. So we see O'Keefe come in light, high on the right lane, light on the left lane. It's been a while since they bowled the quarterfinals. Not as many people bowled this tournament, so that changes things. We can see just coming in light. This is a difficult spare because of that 8-pin sleeper. Needs to cover both pins with the ball. And that shows her power. Just barely gets that one.
All right, the match is all even through 5.5 frames. We'll be back with the finals of